On today's show, the Dallas Mavericks get the win against the Pelicans. They're kind of an NBA team at this point. We'll take the win. It's an NBA Cup win. Luka returns and all that. Talk about all that and more in today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
You are Locked On Mavs.
Great, Rusty.
Your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast.
No one's dying.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Amazing.
Your team every day.
Still can't eat milk.
And welcome. You are Locked On to the Dallas Mavericks, where we let it ride.
We got a live studio audience.
He's not kidding. We literally have an audience right now. Welcome to Locked On Mavs. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for reading every day or making Locked On Mavs your first listen today. Subscribe to our Locked On Mavs newsletter. Check the QR code or the links wherever you're listening to this show. And today's episode is sponsored by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. Use that code Locked On NBA. Get $50 instantly when you play a $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. And joining me from the Great Slightly Biased YouTube channel, the post-game prodigy. What you got for me, Slightly Biased?
Man, Nick was asking me before the show started. He was like, "Oh man, I wish Luka. Why was Luka out there in the fourth?" I said, you know what? That might have just got them into the Vegas round, honestly, because there's probably gonna be at least one team that gets in with one loss in this NBA Cup.
Probably.
And a 41-point win is gonna help you out tremendously.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the NBA Cup. We'll talk about the Mavs getting the win. We'll talk about Luka Doncic returning. Got to dap up all of our studio audience. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Klay Thompson, but I want to start here. Actually, let's start with Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
Dallas Mavericks get the win, 132 to 91. Mavs get their highest scoring quarter of the season with the first quarter, 44 points. Klay Thompson, 5 of 9 from 3, and it was just really good to see Klay get going and start to hit a bunch of shots. You could tell at the beginning of the second half they really tried to go towards him and tried to get him some extra shots, and I thought that it was good to see Klay get going because it's been a little bit since we've seen Klay go off.
Yeah, and I mean, was that the first time, at least starting a game, we've seen the starting five that I think a lot of us were penciling in
with Lively
in there and PJ back healthy. So I thought, it is tough because this is a horrendous Pelicans basketball team currently.
Everything needs to be couched today.
It's really bad, man. And God bless them. It's that they're just dealing with so many injuries that what they're rostering currently is probably the worst team in the sport at its current.
The Spurs without Wemby
is
tough. At least they have Ingram.
If Devin Vassell or Sohan's playing, I'm not entirely sure there.
But no Zion, no Herb Jones, no CJ McCollum, no DeJounte Murray, no Jose Alvarado.
Yeah.
There's one more I'm missing, but man, that's enough. That's a 5-man starting five right there. They basically only have Ingram, Trey Murphy, and they're two-way guys, a couple of rookies.
Jalen Noel is getting. How many minutes did he play tonight?
A lot.
15 minutes, man, and yeah.
It's a bad Pelicans team.
It is.
So it's good that the Mavs came in, took care of business, and got this win. We'll talk about why it matters for the NBA Cup a little bit later, but I thought at least just with Klay Thompson, it was good to see him to get going. The Mavs try to run some plays. I even had a listener come up to me at halftime and be like, well, why aren't the Mavs getting Klay going? Why don't they give him more shots? And I was like, well, he took 7 in the first half. Is that not enough for you? And he goes, no, it's not. It's not for him. And so he finishes the game with 15, hits 5 threes. It was just really good to see Klay get going.
Well, I mean, Klay just hasn't been making shots. I don't think Klay's ever going to have 20-plus shots. So nights where he's not hitting his shots, it's just going to be like, why did Klay not get involved? Because that's just how it is. He's a shooter. We've said this all offseason, really, even after we got Klay, that, a 40% high-volume shooter, it's not like he's going to shoot 40% every night. There's going to be nights where it's 11%, 0%, and then there's going to be nights where it's really, really good. And tonight, he looked really good. I mean, they got clean looks, and you just see the full potential of this offense once it really gets going and everybody starts clicking and, really finding their groove. There's just so many ways to beat you. I mean, they can get the ball in the middle of the floor with their bigs, and then they can pass out of that, and then you have 3 really good shooters in Luka, Kyrie, and Klay Thompson, and a guy in PJ who's still trying to find his three-point shot, but, is really capable of getting downhill and getting to the basket whenever he wants. So
There's so many people around us right now.
I know. I'm a little distracted.
People screaming.
I'm overstimulated.
Usually we're in here by ourselves.
Yeah, we are.
Tonight, not so.
The NBA Cup, man, it just brings it.
It brings people.
It brings the crazy out of people.
Adam Silver
It's funny on the during timeouts and stuff. They kept the arena guy kept being like, "All right, fans, it's NBA Cup night, so make sure you stay loud." And everyone around is like, "What the hell is this?"
Don't talk about Sean Heath like that.
Why is the court blue?
Sean Heath, friend of the show.
Is Dirk still on the team? No, he retired years ago.
If everybody didn't come out for the NBA Cup. Luka, we saw Luka's return as well. He sat out one game against the Thunder. We talked all about that. Isaac and I had an episode about that yesterday, about the Mavs playing without Luka. But Luka, I thought, looked good. 26 points, 5 assists. Only had to play less than 30 minutes, and they were pretty low impact minutes, which is kind of all you're hoping for in a game like this. That he comes out, looks okay physically, and hits some shots, and maybe gets a groove going there, but doesn't have to play a lot. And that's really the key right there for him.
29 minutes is really the key factor here for Luka. But, 3 of 8 from 3, 10 of 16 from the field. I thought he played a really, really good game. I thought he was just in command of the offense, and he looked good. I mean, physically, he looked better than he has at certain points, especially recently. Maybe that a couple days off helped him out. I'm really not sure. But, yeah, he looked good tonight, and that's sort of – why, again, the offense just looked so great in the first half. I mean, in the first quarter, 40 points? 4. And just so much pressure that they put on teams, just this whole group, this whole unit. And Luka getting into that MVP form is really just going. I've been saying it all season long. Never once have I said anything other than that. All season long, when he gets back into that MVP form, things are going to open up so much for this Mavericks team. And he's just been in a rough shooting slump. And, I thought he played really well tonight. And he had 5 assists. Felt like more than that, actually, but,
He started the game with 2 steals and scores.
Yeah. Literally the first 2 possessions of the game, pretty much.
I thought his defense actually looked pretty good. This is a game where there's not a lot of – you're not getting pressed a lot by this. There's not a lot of threats on this Pelicans team, so Luka can kind of roam around a little bit. But even it's
an ISO-heavy team. And Luka in isolation is a good defender. We've said Luka one-on-one, good defensive player. So this is a matchup right here where – he was able to do his thing defensively. He's strong. He's a long defender. So, yeah, he played really well tonight.
We'll take it. We'll take that from
NBA Cup Luka.
The Warriors game and then this game.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe he's just locked in. It's playoff time.
Yeah, I don't know if he was locked in on defense in the Warriors game, but
that wasn't that. I don't even remember what happened at the end of that game.
That was one where Steph was going at it.
That wasn't his fault. Steph was just going nuts.
Steph was going nuts for sure, and they needed something.
That was more
else.
I feel like that was more on the bigs getting cooked, but what else are they supposed to do there?
But that was the other NBA Cup game the Mavericks have played. As you can see, if you're watching this, the blue court the Mavs played on.
I thought it looked great.
I think the blue court. I warmed up to it eventually.
I don't know how it looked on TV because I'm at the game, I was sitting like right down there or something. But anyways, it looked really good. It looks really good in person. I always think the blue ones look good. It's the red.
The red ones are tough.
And that Atlanta Hawks yellow one is a nightmare. How did that get greenlit?
Well, the Celtics one got greenlit for sure. It is as green as –
pun intended.
It looks like where Shrek lives. It's just a swamp over there. But it was an NBA Cup game, and the Mavs get the win, which is good because they lost their first game to the Warriors that we mentioned earlier, and they won by a huge margin.
Yeah.
So we'll take, a 35-point win. That helps them because point differential matters in these NBA Cup games. Everybody plays in these groups. The Mavs are in the group of death.
Was it not 41 points?
Oh, it ended 41 points. You're correct.
Yeah.
And so a 41-point win to Basketball Jesus.
Yeah, that's right. That's a sign.
And that's going to help later on. Let's say the Warriors lose a couple of NBA Cup games. The Mavs can tie them up, or they both end 3-1 because I think the Warriors have won both of their Cup games already. Then all of a sudden the Mavs are, have the tiebreaker because they've won this game by a ton.
Yeah, and if the NBA Cup's going to be a thing, you want to win it. I mean, I know some people don't.
Do you?
Yeah, why not? I mean, some people don't take it seriously, but I want to win it. I want to see my team win it if it exists.
You're going to play anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to play
only going to get one extra game maybe.
Yeah, it's like one. Yeah, it's 1 or 2 extra games because everybody's going to play 2 games anyway. You're not just going to get a week off.
Now, I always wondered if there was a strat there where it's like maybe it's better to not go there because theoretically you're going to play 2 weaker teams because the stronger teams in the league, when you think about it, will be in the.
Yeah, but the Pacers and the Lakers made it to the
That's true. And the Pelicans.
Yeah, so it's not like I don't know. It's a little luck with your
It is.
your opponents at that point, but that's why it matters for the NBA Cup. I liked what we saw from Klay, liked what we saw from Luka, liked what we saw from the team getting the win in the NBA Cup. Great stuff coming up. Let's talk about how they got the win. Let's walk through this game, talk about it, and then we'll get into some of our thoughts on this and more coming up.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook has all kinds of props and odds, things that you can use to get in on the action. Check out FanDuel right now. They have all kinds of odds for who's going to win the NBA Cup. If you feel really good about this one, you can go check out those odds. And right now, new customers can bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win that first $5 bet. FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, the NBA, all kinds of other stuff in just one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Visit FanDuel.com to join today. See what is available. I don't know. Slightly was talking about the Luka MVP odds, which made me, or Luka winning the MVP, which made me want to check again. He's plus 900. He's behind Jason Tatum right now, plus 470. I can't imagine a world where Tatum gets the MVP and Luka like comes in fourth. But I digress. Jokic plus 210. SGA plus 290, Luka plus 900. If you're feeling good about Luka MVP, this is the time. Buy low on those. Check it out at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, listening every day. Appreciate each and every one of you for checking out the show, being here with us. Check the QR code for different ways to support the show, including our newsletter. We're still the #1 newsletter in all of Locked On. Take that,
in
Utah
the whole
Jazz.
world?
Take that, Locked On Jazz.
Take that, Locked On.
Yeah,
Joe.
we only have NBA teams right now, boy. We don't need to tell everybody that.
Locked On Politics.
We're the #1 newsletter in all of Locked On.
What are you going to tell them that we're launching the Locked On Politics podcast, led by me?
We are not in any way, shape, or form doing that in any universe.
Nick's getting a text from his boss in the morning.
We don't even take political ads on Locked On. That's how far removed we are from that.
That's surprising those even are a thing.
Let's walk through this game. We talked about it at the beginning. They got out to a good start, 44 points to start. They started 20-6, and it was a bunch of turnovers from the Pelicans. You could just see right away that the Mavs defense was going to give them problems. But I thought with Lively and PJ, that gives them such a good defensive backbone to have Luka, Kyrie, and Klay try and go for some of those risks to get some of those turnovers.
Yeah, and I mean, these are the type of teams that the Mavericks, I think, defensively will dominate all year long. These bad ones, sure, but teams that space the floor are going to give this team issues, right? Teams that don't space the floor and teams that don't move the ball much and are ISO oriented, which this Pelicans team is. Really, anyways, but especially in their current state.
Right.
You know, that just gives the Mavericks they can fly around the court. They can do their peel switching, which they love doing. You know, they can just park a big in the paint. And there's just not a lot of like off-ball movement and motion that you really have to account for. So these are the games where you see this Mavs defense just look almost impossible to score on at times. And that's how they looked for a good portion of this game, especially like in lineups where Maxey was out there. I noticed this because I was actually curious. I just looked at the stats. Maxey had the best plus-minus of this game, I think.
Maxey was good. I thought Maxey defensively was really good in this game. He just knows, he knows when to come over and help. He knows when to make those decisions. Mavs had an 89 defensive rating in this game.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, these are the things that you have to do as a team, and this is where the Mavs you can start to see are like, all right, they're figuring out what it's like to be a really, really good contending team. Is you drop some games here and there, but then you absolutely obliterate the teams you're supposed to obliterate. So then when we look at the advanced metrics, they look really, really good.
Well, that's why we were like, this is a 500 team that is top 10 in offensive defense. Like, what is going on with this team? But they did not do that against the Jazz. I just want to.
No, that is true.
That was a tough one. But
that's true.
Lively in the first quarter, I noted that he had a really good defensive possession against Ingram. He had a couple of those in this game where he defended Ingram really well, and that's something I'm watching with Lively over and over again. Is how does he look one-on-one against some of these guys, these isolation players, because he's going to have to guard some of those guys. We saw it all through the playoffs last year, but we want to see him keep growing in that, and that's how the Mavs will end up being a top 10 defense in the NBA like for the whole season. Yeah,
and I thought he did a really good job. There's been some times, I think this season, in the past week or two, where last season I thought Lively was really good and not biting super hard on fakes or hesitations. And, I think there's been some times this season where guards have really hurt him, out on the perimeter, which is it's tough ask for a big regardless. But, just staying disciplined and not biting super hard on those fakes. And he did a great job on Ingram. Ingram is a mid-range god. We know that. Ingram, he utilizes those up fakes all of the time, and you just have to stay down and stay, disciplined. And he did a great job on a lot of those isolation attempts. So that's when he's when he's not in foul trouble and he's guarding like that on the perimeter, ooh, man.
How miserable is Brandon Ingram's life right now? You
So
wanted to
bad.
get traded. You wanted to leave New Orleans. And now not only did you not get your trade to leave New Orleans, you have to stay in New Orleans and get double teamed on almost every play because nobody else is a threat that you play with right now.
That
all
is
these
fun.
injuries.
A few months ago, we were like, Ingram could be like the third or fourth guy on a really good team. It's like, no, now you're the number one and only guy on a horrible team. So get out there. It's tough, man.
He's like, I could be Bradley Beal on the Phoenix Suns, right? Like,
Yeah.
He goes, no, you are Bradley Beal on the Wizards now.
yes. But worse.
Yeah, but worse. Klay got going pretty good early at 10 points with halfway through the first quarter.
I can't believe this, Pally. I'm sorry. I mean, I was watching this, and there was people around who was like, who is James Robinson Earl? I'm like, he's having to start for them.
Trey Jamison the third got me.
That's
when I
Trey
was
Jamison.
like,
hey, he hooped for the Grizzlies last year. That's the only reason I knew him.
That's why I had to remember. I was like, man, Trey Jamison. That name sounds familiar, but looking at him, it was like, did Xavier Tillman just change his number in his name?
Yeah,
like,
that's what it was. He was one of those guys that played for the Grizzlies last year. It was like, who is this guy? Why is he kind of good?
Yeah. That second quarter was not inspiring. Mavs
No.
lose that quarter, 22-19. That felt like malaise to me. That felt like the Mavs not putting their best foot forward in that one.
I kind of just thought they were missing some shots, if I'm being honest, if I'm going to do one of those cop-out answers, because I didn't realize it was that bad until at halftime, and I saw that they scored 19 points. I mean, 1 of 6 from 3, 34% from the field.
Only 3 free throws.
I thought they got similar looks than they did in the first quarter, and just a lot of those shots weren't falling. They had 9. Oh, that's rebounds. My bad. I was about to say 9 turnovers. No, wait, 2 turnovers. That's not bad at all. But just missing some shots and stuff like that. But maybe there was a little taking your foot off the gas. But defensively, they still played really good in that quarter. So if they gave up 30 points in that quarter and scored 19, I would say, all right, they took their foot off the gas and stopped playing. But they only gave up 22. I just think some of that was just not making shots.
The offense sputtered a little bit in that corner. If you're going to take anything from that, maybe the most important part of the game. We've been talking about this all season. The Mavs have struggled in this area, and every single game we go, all right, they got to change something. They got to change something. This person's got to change something about their game, about their decision-making, about what they're doing. We talk about this every single time. The Dallas Mavericks not only won 1 challenge, they won 2 challenges.
That's right.
In this game.
He's on a hot streak. He's heating up from the challenge.
I honestly think they were like 2-11 before these 2
something
challenges.
like that. You think coaches get like heat check challenges where it's like, we've won 4 in a row, just get out there and challenge? Like the moment you whistle's blown,
Well,
we're heat checking that.
You know that the guy that calls the challenges is a guy with an iPad that sits in the second row of the coaching bench.
I always thought that was going to be a hard job. You have so little time, I feel like.
No, and everybody whips around.
Yeah,
and they're all like staring at you, and they're all like, "What do we do?"
Is demanding.
Yeah, they're all doing the finger twirl thing.
These ones were obvious though tonight.
Yeah, they got those.
Yeah, so
yeah,
we're heating up.
They got the PJ blocking foul, and then what was the fourth quarter one? They called another one.
Yeah, it was.
Lively the out of bounds
Yeah.
one as well that they got, which is great. I was just happy that they got.
They feel good. It's like a free throw shoot. It's like a shooter in a rough stretch. You get to the free throw line, see a couple go down. It's like, all right, we just needed some gimmies.
I thought Kyrie continues to play the game that he has played. Right.
Yep.
Didn't do a ton in this game as far as like production wise, but you'll take the leadership and you'll take what he gave. I think he finished with 7 assists, and so he was facilitating, and that's what you needed in a game like this. And then he came up with some big shots and a 30-foot bomb 3 that was just momentum, just like nail in the coffin kind of play, which is just, he gives you what you need. He did it again.
That's really what it was, because the moment this game tipped off, it did not feel like it was a question of who's going to win this game.
When Luka steals the first ball, the first pass, goes to the other end and scores, you're like,
you get 2 scoop and scores in a row. That's
It felt like when the Broncos hiked the ball over Peyton Manning's head.
Yeah.
The Seahawks
it's one of these games, huh?
finished in the Super Bowl.
But there was like a 12-point game at halftime.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like super comfortable, and Kyrie just kind of was a stabilizing presence in the third quarter and hit 2 like really tough threes. This is just who Kyrie Irving has been, and he just continues to do it. I mean, it's just he does what needs to be done on a nightly basis. And he's had an all-star level season this year. He really has. I don't know what his final stat line was tonight. I mean, he only took 11 shots, 4 or 5 from 3. But 18 points, 7 assists. I mean, yeah.
That's great.
That helps the all-star campaign.
And didn't have to play more than 30 minutes.
Yeah, and that's great news
Played
there.
27 minutes.
Luka and Kyrie getting under 30 minutes is beautiful.
That's
beautiful.
They Would you say that the Mavericks accomplished everything in this game that they wanted to?
Yes. Actually, yes. I'm trying to think of a spot where I'm like, man, that was unfortunate to see. But, like, I'll even take PJ 2 of 9. You know you're going to get these games. Let's get this one out of the way right now.
We'll take the 2 of 9 PJ game.
PJ gave us the one against OKC, so we knew this one was coming. We'll take it.
I got one thing we didn't get.
What?
We didn't get like a Naji Marshall revenge game against his former team. It would have been nice to see Naji just like go off and go against his former team, but I mean that's not really his game, and that's not really what he was going to do. But it would be nice to see him like really get going. He finished 5 of 8.
Yeah, he wasn't terrible, but
5 free throws.
It would have been nice to see him hit a few threes or something.
15 points. I guess that's a pretty good.
He airballed a corner 3 pretty badly, and I am getting concerned about the shooting.
I was going to say, if you're going to be concerned about something, it's that with him, because he's going to be necessary for this team, and he can't just drive on every single open 3, which is what he's been doing recently. I find myself more and more in these games going, you got to take that. You got to take that, because eventually he's going to have to take that shot, and he just drives off.
Defenses are going to clamp up. Defenses are going to sag off of him. It's especially in a playoff setting. We know that to be true. So
you watch that Cavs Celtics game from tonight, and like you got to take that shot.
Yeah.
They're not going to let you just drive into the lane and do what you want. They're going to strip that.
And it's going to be important because he does so many things for you, like so many things. So he can't be in a position where he's maybe like you can't have him on the court in a big moment because he's just not hitting threes or shooting threes.
Yeah, that matters a lot. But Naji Marshall, it would have been nice to see him get like the real like revenge game going off, season high or something like that. But he did all right in 20 minutes.
I'm just self-conscious now because people have in the comments have
talked about how you hold the mic.
I hold the microphone, and now I'm just finding myself fidgeting all the time.
You hold it like those crooner singers where they have like the pencil mic where it's just a very skinny like stick. I feel like that's how you.
I just feel like my hands are big, so it just feels really awkward doing this.
Oh, that's the reason.
Yeah.
Coming up, let's get into the rest of this game. Let's talk about the Mavs. Let's talk about Quentin Grimes, my guy, getting some more time and getting some more playing time. We'll talk about all that and more on Locked On Mavs coming up.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Today's episode of Locked On Mavs brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks daily fantasy made easy. All you have to do is go to PrizePicks.com, pick more or less than 2 to 6 player stat projections. You create this lineup, and the lineup can be NBA, it can be NFL. You can combine a bunch of different things. Eventually, you'll be able to do Dallas Wings Paige Becker's stats, which I'm very excited about. I'm stoked about that happening on PrizePicks and just in general and in real life, IRL. And right now, you can use that code LOCKEDONNBA. Download the app PrizePicks, create an account, go to PrizePicks.com, create an account. Use that code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play a $5 lineup. You don't even have to win to get the $50 in bonus play. You can just play a lineup of $5, and then you'll get that. And check it out. You can play it in Texas as well, which is super important for everybody listening to this. So PrizePicks.com. Use that code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play $5. PrizePicks.com. PrizePicks, run your game. All right, Slightly. You're back. You're back from your banishment.
I'm back from timeout.
You're back from that. Quentin Grimes got some more time. 23 minutes in this one. Finished with 12 points. Hit 2 threes. Had 3 assists, 8 rebounds, and a blocked shot. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Quentin Grimes. And I am liking that Jason Kidd is bringing Quentin Grimes and Naji Marshall first 2 into the game, which he did in this one.
Yeah, because I think you're going to be right maybe about this, about Quentin Grimes being, what did you say, the most important addition?
I said he was going to be the most important new player on the Mavericks. And
all right, I still don't think that's going to happen. But he's going to make an argument, though. Like
Spencer Dinwiddie, gone.
Well, yeah, that one.
Klay Thompson, up in the air. Naji Marshall, up in the air.
Yeah.
But Quentin Grimes has been good.
Yeah,
he's at least closed the gap.
He's closed the gap, and he has made it to where it's like, all right, what was he doing as a DMP? Like, what was even the thought process there? And it's because we've said this. Go back and look at a lot of the new player acquisitions over the last couple of years for the Mavs. These guys take a while to get put into the lineup. The timeless drop. I'm sorry.
I have to apologize. You felt like he should have played more.
Yep, exactly that. But he does a lot of things for you, man.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I just like the way he plays. He's so quick and decisive. And he has a bag that he can get into from time to time. And the Mavericks will need that from guys.
He had a play at the end of the third quarter I wanted to point out. Minute left. Pick and roll with Gafford. And nice just like thread the needle pass. Got it to Gafford. Gafford scored. And that's where he got one of his 3 assists. And I just thought that was like there's a little bit more to Quentin Grimes' game that we can see.
Yep.
In a game like this that you normally wouldn't see in any other game, but you got to see it in this one. And he does pop because of his athleticism. Like the rest of this team is kind of slow.
Yeah,
If you
he's
look
very
around,
quick.
And Grimes is quick. His shot is quick. He runs quick. He can come around screens quick. There's just a lot that he gives this team.
Yeah, I mean, from what we've seen over the last couple of weeks from him, he looks to me like a playoff player, like a top 8 or 9 guy in your rotation, and you throw him out there for 15 or so minutes in a playoff game, and he's going to get tough defensive assignments and knock down a big 3 or 2 for you. That just is what he looks like as a player to me. So really encouraging stuff, and he played really well again tonight. He had that buzzer beater 3 at the end of, was that the first quarter, second quarter, that was just a part of the Mavericks' great spacing on the court.
Yeah.
And when you have your role guys like Quentin Grimes, hopefully like Naji, hopefully like PJ, Klay, Klay was knocking down threes tonight, Quentin Grimes knocking down threes tonight, and you just see the spacing on the court. It is just like so much, room to work for Luka and Kyrie. So, yeah, he's been really good. Really good.
Yeah. I'm glad to be right, but I'm also just glad the Mavs have another rotation player that feels solid, that fills a bunch of needs that they have.
And he'll have some bad games here or there, shooting-wise. Like, that's going to happen.
No, he won't. He never will.
Yes, guys, he will.
Listen to me.
No, guys, don't listen to him. He absolutely will.
Look at how he's dressed. Look at how I'm dressed.
Exactly.
Who are you going to believe?
Exactly. Look at this. That tells you all you need to know.
At least I always knew where you were in the stadium.
Yeah.
I can see you from a long way away.
I mean, this is a sick jersey. There.
It is it's a neon, like yellow, highlighter yellow you can see from a long way away.
Yeah, I saw the tweets, guys. I was there, and I was screaming, and I was getting loud, and I was coaching.
I kind of thought Jaden Hardy had a good game. It doesn't look good on the stat sheet. Missed both of his threes. Shot 36%, 4 of 11.
How much of that was in garbage time?
He missed a alley-oop from Luka that was like right there. He should have been able to finish that, so that would have been 5 of 11, so I'm not really too worried about that. 3 assists as well for Hardy, and he's now gotten all of the backup guard minutes.
Yeah. I mean, wow, 36%. I would not have guessed that.
Yeah, but it's 4 of 11. If he makes the
Right,
dunk
right.
off of the alley-oop, then it's 5 of 11, and that's
he's
like
just
47.
looks decisive getting downhill and getting to the rim. That's what he's been doing over the past couple of games. And, there was even times tonight where I thought he got hung up in the air without really a plan or tried to get to the rim when, there was 2 guys there, or tried to finish over a big and just really didn't have the angle. So that's stuff that I think you have to live with. But, yeah, he's played well so far in the past couple of games, and he deserves some props for sure.
I would like for him, and I think they did this a little bit in this game, but in games like this, have him just take the ball up every single time.
Yeah.
Especially if they're putting pressure, because he needs to work on that. Seeing him struggle in that Thunder game where he could not be trusted to bring the ball up because he just got stripped, that's a thing he just needs to keep working on. They just need to keep giving him more and more reps.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. I would also – it's kind of tough, though, because – how often is Jaden Hardy going to be in high-pressure on-ball situations, though? Hopefully not many.
That's true. Hopefully not any. But
yeah.
But we saw in the finals that eventually
that's true.
They're going to put a bunch of pressure on Luka and Kyrie, and somebody else has got to do it. And so they've been giving PJ Washington, ball handler, responsibility sometimes. They've been giving Klay that a little bit here and there. And that's
the PJ. I love PJ to death. He's one of my favorite players in the league. The PJ bring the ball up can be an adventure. It can.
The biggest butt ever.
But the him bringing the ball up, though, is one of the things sometimes where he got stripped once coming by Trey Murphy, but it didn't lead to a steal or anything.
But better butt. Sometimes he'll go coast to coast,
go
right at somebody and finish around, and you go, okay, awesome. And that's great.
We've had these discussions. It's the league. I don't know if this is still true, but it was true a few weeks into the season that on-ball full court pressure was up dramatically across the league. Teams across the league were doing it. And
it's a way to get stops.
Yeah, it's a way to get stops. It's a way to slow down an offense from getting to their sets quicker. And, it does require a good amount of physicality and a good amount of stamina from the ball handler to bring the ball up and beat a press. So the less Luka and Kyrie have to, and mainly Luka, because his workload is going to be, over the course of the season when he's really clicking and going, is going to be so high. Like, if we can save him, just 10% of his energy by him not having to bring the ball up all the time, it's going to be really important. So,
They're packing the court up. We'll only see this court one more time.
That's kind of sad.
What did you think about the jerseys with the court? Like the dark blue, like the dark navy? I thought it was a bad combo.
I thought you wear your city jerseys with these. Is that not what you do?
The white? I thought they would wear the white.
I thought that's what every team does. I thought that was the point.
But I guess they just wore them? I don't know.
The blue jerseys were an interesting choice here. But I do like the court. I think it's nice. I think it's snazzy. I think it's got a lot of things working in its favor.
What do you think about the NBA Cup trophy?
Is that like on the court or
it's in the middle? Yeah, you see the
Well,
Mavericks
I will
logos on
say,
it
like,
and in
one-
the paints.
As an NBA fan, it pisses me off a little bit because it's like one of the coolest things about the NBA Finals in the nostalgia of the NBA Finals is you go back and you watch these old games and they have a ginormous Larry O'Brien
Yeah,
trophy
right.
at full court,
Right.
at center court. And they've said, no, we can't do that anymore because the paint.
Well, one of the reasons why they didn't get to use the NBA Cup court last year was because the guys were slipping on it
Yeah.
because of the paint. So
That's true.
Maybe I'm kind of with them on that one.
No. Bring back the Larry O'Brien trophy silver.
We have the tech. We got to have the technology.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Get serious, please. Come on.
get serious.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves of the NBA is how little pageantry there is in the finals. And I was here for 2 finals games. And the energy was high, but it didn't, outside of a couple things here or there, did not really feel like that much of a different experience.
You know what we need in the NBA? My friend does these. He's a photographer and he goes to weddings and he does these like multi-million-dollar weddings.
Nice. I need to hit him
Anybody
up.
that plans those events, those multi-million-dollar weddings, needs to be in charge of the NBA for pageantry and just start adding a bunch of stuff. Because I agree with you, both in Boston and here, when the NBA Finals were here, it just did not feel like, okay, this is the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
You're here and all. There's a couple things here and there.
There's more pageantry for an NBA Cup game. Like there is. Like in baseball, they put like the ribbons up on all of the the little areas. Really blanking on the word.
They put the
I almost said stanchions.
They
but
put
they're
the
not
ribbons on
stanchions.
the little
They
areas.
put the ribbons on the little areas. The
Talking about
concourse.
breast cancer awareness?
No. They have like they're red, white, and blue because naturally, and they're all on the
The 4th of July?
No, they put them up during the playoffs, and it does feel different. Like it's a small thing, but when you're at a game, you're like, oh, this is a playoff game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I don't even know how we got off on this tangent.
Landed that one well.
Ropax dunk.
Max did get a huge dunk in this
Yep.
one, which we'll take.
We will take that. And he got to the free throw line, of course.
Signs of life.
Just hilarious how he gets fouled. It's so
He's
often.
good at it.
It's because he's herky-jerky and he's really lengthy.
And long, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a recipe for fouls.
Good win. Mavs accomplished everything that you would want in a win like this. Check the box. And you should check the box following us on the newsletter. Help us get to 1,000 subs. We're really close. Appreciate you. Check the QR code or the link in the description. And you can also get texts from us on the Locked On Mavs Insiders program, so you can sign up for that. You can text the number. It's on the screen right now, 214-643-8637. You get text from me. I sent multiple. I sent my 2,000th text today. We've been doing this for over a year. Sent 2,000
God.
texts. So get all your Mavs news straight from me.
That's right.
And yeah, check out Slightly Biased on his channel. Guys, so much other stuff coming this week. Isaac and I will have an episode tomorrow. Thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs. Peace out.
Salute. Go hard on them dudes.
The Cup.